linear ARDL, because these are complexities, these are introduced in order to have another paper. There is no other uh, purpose of these kind of things. For example, there are concept of, you see, there is I1 and I0. This is called integrated, no integrated. Then there is fractional integration. What is fractional integration? Integrated of order 0.5. Now, if you look at the history and if you look at the literature, it is very difficult to differentiate between I0 and I1. Right? How can you differentiate between I0 and I0.5? If you are unable to differentiate between two ends, so can you differentiate between two medium terms? But still, because there is some mathematics involved and there is some sophistication, and you can write something which ordinary person will not understand, this is the point that is acceptable for the journal and you can have a good publication. Right? Any other question? Basically, the methodology that we are discussing here is very suitable for topic selection. Usually the people avoid the topics when there is so much research, but this methodology will enable you to do the research in the field where there is so much research. How? Because the research is happening in isolation. One person is building his theory, is building his thesis on one theory, the other person is making thesis on another theory, and there is no consensus obviously. When they are using different determinants, there will be no consensus. What you can do, by adopting this kind of methodology, you can put all the variables into one model, and then you will have the techniques to reduce the model, and ultimately it will tell you among these candidate theories what was the theory which is consistent with data. Right? Any other question? There is very small, actually what happens, suppose there is something very sensible and that is coming from the people like me, it does not make space in the mainstream audience. Mainstream means it's Europe, they will not listen me. And this is happening over there as well. For example, you might have seen there was a research which was due to Gibson. Gibson was a person from United Kingdom. He found that there is positive relationship between interest rate and inflation. This paper became popular. And at the same time, there was another person, his name was Selig, and Selig was probably from Poland, and Poland was not so popular at that time. The findings are same, but nobody knows the name of Selig, right? So, we will discuss this tomorrow. Basically, we have discussed something yesterday. If you re-listen the lecture, and we will discuss further detail tomorrow, inshallah. But what I was telling, there is a small number of papers on this kind of things. Basically, this is very difficult. This is not initiated by me or anyone else. This is this methodology is due to David F. Henry, who is now in London School of Economics. Right? So there are definitely papers written about this. But what happens, this is very difficult. Basically, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 theories, you can write 5 papers. And then if you want to do the comparison of pairwise comparison of the theories, you can write another 10 papers, right? But if you adopt this kind of methodology, only one paper will come out of all these analysis. So the people are not fond of shortening their CVs, so they will adopt the methodology which is making space in the journals. You will find some papers, but not so many.
ये आज के सेशन का एंड है